We the top 10. UGK the major way, not play it don't stop here. Traffic lights, we going, know the time until the clock there. Hands on roll, we doing digi to the whole block clear. Yo, what you got there? Oh, did you not hear? Indies taking over and we got the whole shop, yeah. Her, she wanna know me better, but I'm on the top 10. Gotta match my energy, you see I'm in the top, yeah. Yeah, it's top 10. Hey, now I'm in blessed mode, did you forget, bro? Put G.O.D. first and nothing less, no. On a radar per release, per request, yo. Life is like a dice game, that's a bet, though. Is you bugging, that's a dub. Shoulder shrug to the stub. Tell them hit the squatty up. See a line of cars meet up. Nah, don't bother us. Windows fogging up. If she in a passenger, then you know she finest. Damn. It's really still a bros and my blood love. All is all love. AWD, I got a newer clutch. And my guapi up, you could call me up. Since you know the face and the name, this is us. We the top 10. UGK the major way, not play it don't stop here. Traffic lights, we going, know the time until the clock near. Hands on roll, we doing digi to the whole block clear. Yo, what you got there? Oh, did you not hear? Indies taking over and we got the whole shop, yeah. Her, she wanna know me better, but I'm on the top 10. Gotta match my energy, you see I'm in the top, yeah. It's top 10. Hey. Yeah, I heard you knocking, but my nigga, I am not here. Watch out for the company you keep, cause people mad with. I will pull up on you and address it, I am not scared. We just looking down on these niggas from the top stairs. We been dropping back to back to back, but it don't stop here. People love to tell me their opinion, I do not care. Way that we keep bodying these tracks, man, it is not fit. Way that God keep blessing me, protected by my mom's prayers. In my home.
One, two. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet. Unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up.
Hey. Yeah, let's see how you do under pressure. I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra.
All right. Episode 382 of the PHP Ugly Podcast. If this is your first time joining us, or if you're a little confused at what you're listening to, you're listening to a podcast that focuses on the PHP programming language, the surrounding community, and our company, PHP Architect. I am one of your hosts, Eric Van Johnson, and with me, as always, is John Conklin.
Hello. Excited.
You can be part of the show as well. Just pop into our Discord at discord.phpugly.com and be part of the show. You'll see the chat scroll by on the left-hand side whenever I decide to turn it on. And you can even contribute to the show by suggesting titles and things like that. You do that by doing a bang title and then whatever you are suggesting to be the title.
Just look right there.
Look at that. Wow. Examples and everything. Show's made a little better thanks to some sponsorship from honeybadger.io and PHP Architect, as well as our supporters on Patreon at patreon.com/PHP Ugly. I feel like that's it. I feel like I've covered it all.
I think you got it.
Nailed
it. First take.
First, let's wrap it up. That's it. That's probably the cleanest and quickest I've ever done.
I was looking for that one. Except I didn't stay up with you. I was looking for that lower third and didn't have it ready.
How's it going, John?
It's going. It's been a week.
Getting back to normal?
Yes, they are getting back to normal. Although I think our new normal is year-round tech planning.
the normal being planning for tech.
Just when I thought, I'm like, oh wait, it's done. We get 6 months off. No, not that way.
No months. No, not even 6 days off.
Yep. I like how A Woods jumps right in there. Happy birthday, Eric.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm wearing my
yesterday
vintage 69 hat. That's when I was born. So hello from Pakistan. Hello, Pakistan. How are you doing? I got an important question. Before we get into geek stuff, right. I've got something that's been on my mind for a while. Have you ever had one of those questions where you feel like you've always wanted to ask it, but now you're too old and you feel like you should know the answer, so you don't want to ask?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at now. So birds and bees. No, not that.
They don't actually do anything together. I don't know where they come.
Pink lemonade. What is pink lemonade? Why is it pink? Where does pink lemonade come from?
From pink lemons, duh. I don't know.
Pink lemons aren't a thing. Come on, man. Help me out with this one. It has bothered me my entire life, and I just ordered some lemonade the other day, and it came in the color of pink. And I'm like, where the hell does this pink lemonade come from? Does that mean it's not real lemonade, or is it lemonade with pink something pink added to it? I don't. Somebody needs to explain it.
That's a damn good question. I do not know.
God damn it! You're no help to me, John. Oh, somebody has to know. Somebody must know what pink lemonade, where it comes from. Is it just food coloring, Buttery? I need to know. I need definitive answers. Why is it pink? Why do they make lemonade pink? What's wrong with the color of lemonade being?
Because it looks like pee. That's why. They're nobody wants to drink urine, so we're gonna.
Who pees yellow, John? Doesn't everybody pee green, or is that just me? I should probably see a doctor.
Nah, doctors are overrated.
Oh,
for sure.
What? I used to make gin with rose petals. That sounds enticing. Never been much of a gin person. You got me doing a little gin on one of our trips. And I forget what trip it was. It must have been a Longhorn trip. Yeah.
I don't remember.
It was a gin and soda or something that you got on the
tonic.
Gin and tonic. Yeah, you got it on the plane. I'm like, I mean, it didn't have a lot of flavor to it, but it was good. It was nice change. So.
Yeah. Refreshing, I think.
Yeah.
With the soda water. Yeah. All right, you ready to laugh at me?
Sure.
I'm gonna jump into this because to me this is hilarious.
Okay.
About a month ago, I went to Mexico, right?
Mm-hmm.
While I was there, I had one of my pull requests that was merged, immediately reverted. I'm like, why did it get reverted? Because it goes through a whole QA process. Somebody tested it backwards and forwards. Everything seemed to be working. And there was an issue with it. We get back. There's only a week between the time I got back and the time for tech. So I go through the feedback, figure out what was happening, fix up the PR, re-put it up for code review. It gets released while we're at tech and immediately gets reverted. What in the world is going on? I know this was working. So I go through and I find another small issue that is able to be fixed pretty easily. I re-release it the other night, and it didn't get reverted because I was in town, and the person testing is like, "It's not working." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I go and test it. It works in local dev. It works in CI. It worked everywhere but production.
Oh, I love those.
And it gets even better. It's unit tested. It's
Oh,
very well unit tested.
okay.
Yeah. Um, I'm not very smart, it turns out. So
You're not going to get an argument from me, John, if that's what you're looking for.
this code lives out on PBX servers. So when
Uh-huh.
a phone call comes in, it has to reach back to the web server to ask for information. And it turns out I have code in there that says, you know, if we're in local development or the CI environment, it has to use an ngrok URL. If not, it uses a URL provided by the web server at the very beginning. Did you know, anybody out there, there's a difference between www.domain.com and www.domain.com? I was missing the dot
You
after
missed
the
a dot.
www.
You missed a dot.
The funny thing is, the unit test was testing the production version of the code. When I wrote the unit test, it returns this like super long string that I ran it, got the string, threw it in my unit test as an assert. And I didn't look through the string, so I never saw it
So
was
it's
missing
just
that
like,
dot.
yeah, no, the strings match. We're good.
Yeah,
Good here.
good to go.
Funny how picky code can be. You know, just a little dot. You're like, hey, come on. You know what I meant. You know what I meant.
I hate when that happens. Like, it's such a glaring mistake. If I had just read the string, but like I said, it's super long, probably 200 characters, tokens and stuff in there that
I'd say
I just
I
wasn't
would
looking
have
for the
looked,
domain.
especially if it started with like HTTPS. I would have looked through that first whole section. Like, all right, that's obviously all right.
It wasn't even that. So it's a parameterized, almost like a query parameter of key equals value and key equals value and key. So like halfway through this long string was and x dash domain equals the domain. So it's just, it was buried deep in there. And actually in my IDE, it ran off the right-hand side. So it was actually hidden from view until I went looking. But man, that drove me crazy.
I totally get that.
But
you know what? I don't know if knowingly or unknowingly kind of led into a good topic for the show, because we had somebody in our Discord. If you didn't pay attention earlier, you can be part of our Discord, discord.phpugly.com. It's there all week, and people come in there and ask questions and get answers. And it's a great way to have back and forth. And somebody actually slipped in there today, A. Hinkle, and asked, we are looking to improve our code review practice at our agency. Anyone got a practice they follow or a good blog post? And you kind of started right down that path.
I know.
We've had this conversation a few times about some of the drawbacks of code review and some of the pitfalls of it. The biggest one being, especially when you're manually doing code review, you kind of get on autopilot and you're just like wanting to get stuff through, and you don't want to be the bottleneck, and you want to push stuff through. And I think somebody in our Discord actually came back with some great suggestions of essentially automating as much as possible. And Renus says, automate as much as possible. Standard. I'm paraphrasing some of this, but standardize on coding styles, coding rules, and get as much of that automated as you can, so that when people are reviewing code. Oh, and you touched on some CI or some sort of testing, some sort of automated testing as well, just to make sure things don't break, so that when you do kind of get to that manual code review, that the people can kind of focus on code. Do you have anything else you bring to the table?
Yeah, so I read that, and the first thing I thought of was also, yes, automating as much as possible. PHP unit, PHP CS, having that coding style in your repo as like, this is our coding style. But add to that list PHP CBF, which is the PHP Code Beautifier and Fixer. So that'll actually take your PHP CS rules and try to automatically fix some of those issues for you.
Oh, interesting.
And if you run that all in you can run it in your Git hooks. So as you commit, run through those, make sure that your all of your PHP files lint. That's always a good thing. Make sure they actually work to begin with. I don't run PHP unit as part of my commit. I let the CI system handle that. It depends on how many tests you have. If your tests run fast, do it as part of your commit hook, so that it's run before it even gets to your CI environment. I am notoriously bad at that. Our unit tests take, I want to say, I forget what they're at now, 5 to 10 minutes to run, and so I don't run them.
Well, which doesn't seem like a lot of time, but like when you're developing and trying to get stuff done, it's a very long time.
Yeah. So I'm terrible about just pushing code and letting CI do as much as it can, but I do have it lint my PHP files, PHP CS, and PHP CBF, so that
CBF,
at least the files.
I need to start to use that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and to if you don't understand why something like standardizing on formatting code is so important, it's because you get jerks like myself who like my code formatted a certain way, will dial in my editors to format my code in a certain way, and it's like I get kind of particular about it in a way that 98% of the people out there who code don't, and it has absolutely zero impact to the performance of the code. It's just how I like looking at code. And the problem with that is when I touch somebody else's code base, especially if you're working in a team, I touch somebody else's code base, my editors are configured, and I should probably turn this off, and I know I don't, but are configured to start to format all the code to my liking, which then turns around and creates these fake large commits into the repo of just all these formatting changes that are really irrelevant. So if you can get your team to kind of agree to standardizing in a format, whether or not it's a format you completely agree with or don't agree with, or if your team doesn't totally agree with,
takes compromise. Like there are plenty of things when we're creating the style guide that it's like, I like it this way, and other people are like, no. And I'm like, no, it's got to be my way. And you got to give some, take some, right? Can't always.
No, that's not right. Everybody should agree with me, and whatever I say is the best way. But the benefit to it is, even if it's a format you don't completely agree with, your eyes get accustomed to looking at that format, if nothing else, in that repo, and it just creates for fewer false big commits.
As Sarah says, a shitty coding style is better than no code style. Like,
This is
at least it's
true.
being consistent. As far as code review, having your team commit is the wrong word. It's the right word, but not in a git commit kind of way. Having your
Mhm.
team work together and agree that you are going to be diligent in making your uh, PRs small as possible. Uh, if
Good point.
you're going to make a functional change and a refactor, make them two separate PRs. Don't do them in one big PR. Uh, Try and have a PR that if you're going to do a sweeping change, especially for code style, have one PR that goes and fixes all of one type of thing at a time, because we are very good at scanning files. So if you're changing from tabs to spaces, one in GitHub, if you're using GitHub, you can easily say ignore white space and it'll say, hey, nothing's changed. Good. I'm good to go. Merge that PR. But having a PR around a single focus to me helps a lot. It's those 40, 50, 60 file PRs that we get numb to, and we're like, I don't want to review this now, and you put it off a day. I don't want to do this. You
Mhm.
put it off, and then somebody's like, will you please review this? I'm waiting on you. And then you're like, yeah, approve. It's fine. Looks good to me.
Yeah, I'm notorious for I've used that word a couple times. I'm sorry. Where I start working on a problem in a repo, and then I see something else that oh, this is just a quick fix. Let me go ahead and just add this to it. And I then when the PR is actually ready to be created, I end up with like 4 or 5 different things that I fixed in there, and and it's just it can be kind of a mess. That's why I try to start using that GitButler, because that GitButler, that was like one of the real features of it. Of oh, hey, you're working on a branch, and then you realize, oh, there's this other change I want to make. So you actually, you drag those files into another branch, and you can kind of work these branches simultaneously, but keep them separate when you do your commits. And I seem to. It's very difficult to screw yourself up, screw yourself using Git. And I managed to do it multiple times using this Git Butler. Part of it is because for me, it's a GUI, and I actually don't thrive very well with GUIs for some reason, because it's like I I think, okay, it's a GUI, it should just work how I think it should work, and I'm less disciplined on understanding the software as I am like command line. Like command line, I'm pretty disciplined of understanding switches and how things work. In a GUI, I'm like, oh, it's a GUI. I should see how it's supposed to work, and I try to use it, and then I end up screwing myself. And I need to get back to, or I need to get a workflow, because that was the other thing. What was the other? GitFlow. GitFlow was the
Mhm.
other kind of command line version of a workflow that I've tried in the past, and again, didn't care for it.
I
I
use
forget
Git.
why.
I use GitFlow for years, but that's more around branching strategy
Yeah, it's true.
and how to get from develop to production, and having different almost lanes of, I'm going to go from develop to staging, and if I need to do a hot fix, it's going to go here, and here's how it's going to merge back into both uh, production and into your develop branch. So that was more around the branching strategy.
That's true. Yeah. So
But
yeah, I need to get better about that.
we're talking a lot about Git, and I want to go back to PHP Tech. There were some great talks, especially by Pauline Voss, around Git and
Mm.
using some advanced Git magic, right? And around one Git rebase and Git bisect.
Mhm.
Fantastic talks. Highly
Bisect
recommend.
or as I like to call it, the Git biscuit. Yeah, yeah. That's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Git rebasing, making sure your commits are atomic, meaning they're in a good state. you should be able to load the site, do everything you're supposed to do. Nothing should be broken at that point. So all your tests should pass. Is a good starting point. So having that agreement with your team is important. And then you being able to use Git bisect to find issues. Such a great talk. I was so happy to sit in on that one. And then
it's funny because we're getting a little off topic. I do want to circle back around, but
right.
We had a speaker who was stepping in for another speaker who had to pull out, and they said, "Hey, I can do a Git talk." I'm like, "Yeah, it's last minute. Honestly, whatever you have handy we would appreciate." And he looked at the schedule. He goes, "Oh no, you have Pauline there. No, I'm good. I'm not even going to try to do a Git talk around." That is anybody who wants to learn about Git, that's the talk you want to go to. I'll figure something else out. But
yeah, Pauline, just real quick, Pauline in their talk said that they take a lot of time to know Git inside and out. So that's the person you want talking about, and not somebody that's just uses the commands, right?
I need to watch that video too. But bringing it all the way back around to code reviews, one pet peeve I have, and I will stress to people that when you get down to that manual code review, especially if you're the person doing the reviewing, and first thing, give decent. I shouldn't have to say this, but don't be a dick with your feedback. Just just be pleasant about your feedback, right? Nobody likes that to be criticized and have to look at their, think that they did something wrong, right? But make yourself available, because clearly if you spot something that maybe the person maybe it's just another way of doing it, like it's not the way they did it is not necessarily wrong, but you feel like you have a better way, make yourself available for that conversation. It bugs me to no end when a person provides feedback and that's it. Like they don't want to have a conversation about it. They provided their feedback, leave me alone. It's like, no, it's a conversation. You need to have this discussion now.
Something that we've been doing a lot, and again, it's going to depend on your team size and everything else, but doing live code reviews, almost like pair programming, but I write my code, I reach out to somebody else, say, "Hey, do you have time to pair review this with me?" And the nice part about that is you don't get those comments of, "Well, you could have done it this way." And then they kick it back and you have to make the decision. Well, do I do it that way or do I move this on to the next stage? Versus you have that conversation, and on our team, it's if you want that change while you're reviewing it, make the change and commit it, right? Otherwise, let it go. It's not worth it.
Well, not let it go, not worth it, but
I meant more. Don't just leave the comment out there, like you said, being a jerk about it.
Yeah.
If you feel strongly that change needs to be made, then make it.
Yeah.
Is what it comes down to. If my code works, but you want it changed a little bit, make the change live with me and explain your reasoning for it, and make it. Don't just kick it back to me and say, "Do this," unless the code is broken. If the code's broken, that's a different story.
Yeah.
You want to know another important piece to the whole code review CI pipeline?
Absolutely.
Having a very good error management tool. More about white events in the context of application logs and observability lately. A white event is just a collection of properties that may be useful later. The more the better. Think about all the context around a web request. The wider your events, the better prepared you'll be for unknown unknowns, those sneaky bugs that you can't anticipate. Observability isn't rocket science, but the industry likes to pretend that it is. Honeybadger.io is challenging the assumption with Honeybadger Insights. Honeybadger's approach to observability is simple. First, log everything with wide structured events. Then, query and graph your events with BadgerQL. the powerful query language at the heart of Honeybadger Insights that allows you to ask questions about your systems and build quick charts and dashboards. Install Honeybadger today and be fully prepared to navigate the unknown unknowns of your next incident. Visit honeybadger.io to learn more. That's www.honeybadger.io. Thank you, Honeybadger.
Look at you, Mr. Sneaky Sneak. Running the board on me. It's funny because you start going down that path. I'm like, oh shit, he's going to segue, and I'm trying to pull up the video. And you like, can you not see the videos when I pull them up?
Mm-mm.
Oh, because I never saw it pulled up. I'm like, wait a minute, how's he playing this? It's not pulled up.
You just play it from the video clips, right? It doesn't pull it up.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
No, but on the left-hand side, it's like grayed out for me. Like typically when I pull it up, it's grayed out.
I have no clue what you're talking about. You're gonna have to show me sometime.
How did you just run? Oh yeah, you know what? You are absolutely right. I do play that from the video clip. See?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Okay, so we gave you some good advice for code reviews.
We gave you some advice. We don't know if it's good.
Good point. So we talked a little bit. Let's talk about oh wait, we got a roundtable comment here from Sarah. Erica has no idea how streaming works. Yes, that's correct. That's why there's not been that's hurtful. Has not been an episode of PHP Roundtable in such a long time. We are doing.
You have one scheduled one, right?
We are doing an episode this time tomorrow. Same bat time, different bat channel. So Friday at 3:00.
Different bat day.
Yeah. So we have our panel, right? We have our panel of people that we're going to get together, much kind of like this, like John and I do, but it's a panel, not just the two of us. And then we're changing the format a little bit. Like the bottleneck before was, we're talking about PHP Roundtable. The bottleneck before was, we had to come up with a topic, and then we had to find people who were interested in talking about that topic, and then like coordinating everybody to jump on the podcast at the same time. It just kind of got to be a kind of a pain, to be honest with you. So what we're doing now is we're just going to establish a date and time. So the second Friday of every month, we're going to have a PHP Roundtable. This is the commitment we're making, right? Whether there's anybody to join us, whether there is a particular topic, we'll decide. We will announce it if there is one. Tomorrow there isn't one. It's just going to be the core panel getting together and talking about just catching up. But we're going to meet second Friday of every month, 3:00 PST, Pacific Coast Time. And yeah, that's going to be
PT, because you don't know if it's standard or daylight depending on the month.
Right. Good point. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna try that for a little while and see if that works. And maybe by standardizing on a time and day to meet, it'll be easier to get other panelists on. And it's not going to be the same panelists every week. Like tomorrow, Ramsey's not going to be able to make it. Like that's the idea. It's like we'll see who's there, who's not there. But every Friday, we're going to have a panel, or every second Friday of every month, we're going to have a panel.
And worst case, you're there by yourself talking into the void.
Yeah. That's still a very weird thing, man, because like for so long, that's who we were, right? We just talked into the void. That we had like 10 people watch our videos, and we kind of
afterwards, not live.
Yeah, not live. Yeah. And we kind of knew like nobody was listening. It's still weird to think that people listen. Like tech this year just blew me away. The people came up and talked to me. It happens to me every tech. Like it happened to me last year, but like it shakes you a little bit. Like, well, crap, people are listening. It's changed a little bit with the live feed and having Discord be part of the show, and it's like now you kind of know you're talking to people and you're having that conversation, whereas before we just talked, we recorded, and we released, and that was it. And that was,
I mean, I remember the first time it happened to me with my bowling podcast I did, way back in the day, and then went to a bowling convention or conference, whatever you call it. And me and Tony, who did the podcast with me, were walking through one of the hotels, and somebody came up and like talked to us, and I was like, "Whoa, you actually watch our stuff?" It's crazy.
Yeah, the first time it happened to me, and I know I have a distinct voice. I realize that I don't speak well, and I have a very, I have a distinct voice. I understand. And that was the first time it happened to me. Was at a Laracon, and somebody had walked up to me. Somebody I knew walked up to me, and I said, "Hey, man, how's it going?" And we had a little quick conversation. And I noticed out of the corner of my eye, somebody like, did a quick snap, like turned around and looked at me. And when I finished my conversation, they stood up and walked over to me. He goes, "You do a podcast?" I'm like, yeah. It's like I have PHP Ugly. So, yeah, no, I listen. I'm like, okay, that's weird.
You're not supposed to say it's weird to somebody listening to your show.
Like, what's wrong with you? Why would you listen to my show? All right, we have some announcements to make. I'm making announcements.
I want to hear your announcements.
PHP Tech has a new home. It's no longer in Chicago. No, that's not true. It's still in Chicago. No, we have. I should look at that real fast. But for years, obviously, PHP Tech has always had the URL tech.phparch.com. Fine with it. PHP Arch is our company. We run the conference. We're behind. We're like the biggest sponsor of the conference, unfortunately. But it's kind of a long URL. So we've always wanted to shorten it. phptech.com makes the most sense. Somebody has been domain squatting on that domain for so many years. I can't think of anybody who would want to use phptech.com for anything else. Maybe somebody does, but not for the price this person's asking for. Now, if somebody wants to buy the domain for us, we would love that. We would use it. I'll make that commitment right now, but we're not interested in the $2 or $3 or $4 grand. I think the price actually went up. I think it's almost $4 grand now. It's like 3,800 or something.
Last I looked, it was 21.
Yeah. So I think it went up, but we're not interested in paying that much for a domain, and we don't suggest you do either, because it just joke. Encourages. Yeah. So when I got phptech.tv, I kind of thought, I'm like, we'll use this for videos, but maybe we use it for the conference eventually. But it had that .tv extension. It's like, yeah, this is gonna work. Like, I mean, it's fine for the videos, and that's still where you go to watch the videos, but it's not going to work for the actual conference. So now we had a conversation about it. We kind of worked through it. We looked at the options out there, and phptech.io. So that was available. We purchased that. I think that's what we're going to put on branding for a while. Tech.phparch.com will continue to work for at least the next couple conferences, but I think all of our branding and everything, we're going to gear towards phptech.io. So, yeah, you're the first to hear that publicly announced. So John didn't even know I was going to talk about it.
Yep, I did, but I did share it. I had it on Trello, and it did go into the.
Did you?
It did go out on Discord about only about 35 minutes ago.
Okay, well, I thought I was shaking you up a little bit. I thought I was being edgy. Yeah, so phptech.io.
Yeah, I guess we can't really share the other information yet.
No.
All right. Then we'll move
I mean,
on.
we can share that we're in negotiations for PHP Tech 2025.
Yep.
Every now and then I wake up in the morning, I'm like, wait a minute. We can still, nothing's been signed. We can still back out of this. We'll continue this exercise, but I will be completely honest with everybody. Leading up to Tech this year, I was pretty adamant with John. I'm like, this has to be it. This has to be the last year. You know, we've got to give it a break a little while because, you know, of all these reasons that John and I had discussed. And I felt like I was getting him on board with me on this. And then, of course, we have Tech. It's like, no, that was fucking great. We're doing it again. Let's just sign the paper. Why even leave Chicago? Just sign the paperwork. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're right. Well, you had me when we were like back in 2018 where we were losing a crap ton of money. You know, right now we're happy breaking even. Not that that's what we want. We do have a company to support. We have employees we have to pay, but breaking even.
Your definition. I see. Okay, financially on the books, we did better than break even. You know, by maybe by a margin. I don't know. We haven't really kind of finalized the books on it. It was going to be close, but the problem with that comment, yeah, is John is really discounting the time that we spend in organizing it. It's like, if you do that, we're not even close to breaking even, and we never anticipate breaking even considering that time.
It's a lot of time.
It's a lot of time. It's a lot
of stress.
Anxiety. It's like, if we don't get another sponsor, you know, we're not going to be able to do this or that, and yeah. And I mean, we have made the commitment pretty early on with Oscar the Elephant this year, and it was actually the tipping point. It really kind of became the tipping point between adding T-shirts to the swag bag, or Oscar, which we had already committed to, had already paid for. So, you know, a lot of people were fine with it. Like, hey, I'll take an elephant over a T-shirt any day of the week, and that was my comment as well. It's like, as much as I would love to design that conference T-shirt that people will wear all year long, it never happens. Like, nobody ever wears their T-shirt after the conference, if they even wear it then. You know, it's so I have a closet. It's not just Tech. Like, I have a closet, or had a closet, filled with conference T-shirts that I just had no intention of ever wearing again. So yeah, I think the elephant was a good idea. I don't know if we're gonna do an elephant next year, because again, that's a big commitment. That's an upfront cost that we need to recover. Like, had we not gotten the sponsorship, and had we not done Oscar, we could have waited to the last minute to decide, okay, we don't really have the money for T-shirts, we're not doing T-shirts, or we do have the money for T-shirts, we will do T-shirts. Whereas with the elephant, you know, you're basically paying almost a year in advance for it, and so now you're already that much in the hole. And also, elephant's way more expensive than T-shirts, like a lot more expensive than the T-shirts.
Yep. All right, you want to talk about some RFCs?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
PHP stuff. What? On a PHP podcast? That makes no sense.
Let's do it.
This one, I don't know. So, PHP RFC, raising 0 to the power of negative number. I don't know how much. I don't do a whole lot of math like this, but the RFC proposes to change the behavior of this operation and match the division by 0 operation. So basically, if you try to do it, it's going to throw a division by 0 error. Not earth-shattering, but if you do a lot of exponential math, maybe it's important to you. I mean, it passed with a 27-0 vote. But I think that's because a lot of stuff in the PHP language they're trying to move away from odd behaviors to very explicit, like throwing exceptions when things are exceptional. Go figure.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, everybody seems to be on board with this one.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. If you're doing exponential math, especially with variables, make sure you have a try catch around it just in case. Or very good value objects where you know you have positive numbers. Look at us bringing it back to value objects. Here's
What you got?
here's another one that's up for vote right now. So the RFC to support object types in BC Math. Do you use BC Math?
No.
I think I've only used it via libraries. It's not something I've ever felt I needed, but as of right now, all of the BC Math operations are functional, are just functions, and this RFC wants to make it object oriented like the rest of PHP, or the way we're going with PHP.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting. See, BC Math it's one of those things. Like, I feel like, am I missing out on something for not using this? Like, should I be using this? I don't know what the use case is for it. Like, when do you use BC Math as opposed to just your regular arithmetic there?
Right. I think when you want precision versus there's a lot of oddities with just integer math.
Yeah. Anybody who works with currency understands that.
Right. But is that enough of a reason to use something like BC Math versus what we do today? Like in US dollars, we often convert to an integer of cents.
Mm-hmm.
But you can still run into issues.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and this one's up for discussion right now.
It's
voted on.
Well, there are some votes. It's 15-2 on supporting object types, and I still think I can't remember if we found it was hidden, but like a reason for why people vote a certain way without having to go to externals.io or the internals mailing list to figure out what people are saying, because they don't even have to respond, I don't think, with reasons for their vote.
Yeah, that would be nice, just to be able to click on the person's name and or click on their vote and see if there's any feedback on why they had voted that way. I guess it would be a lot to ask them to put their reasoning behind voting a certain way in every vote they make.
But we don't vote. I don't think they vote on that many RFCs a year, and usually they have a clear-cut reason. Not that we need a book of why they voted a certain way, but I just don't think this is right for the language, or it's not right for the language because A, B, and C, or something.
And like you said, you can usually find it if you grep through the internals mailing list, or like you said, externals. But yeah, it would really be nice to streamline that. And then yeah, Sarah, come on, get that working. What's wrong with you? Actually, I'll blame Ben. Seems like a Ramsey job. Come on, Ramsey.
And then I guess the implicit rounding, everyone wants it to round up at the half versus always towards zero. I guess that was part of this RFC.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Wait, that's part of the BC Math RFC?
Yep. This RFC takes a secondary vote on the model of implicit rounding during calculations. Note that PHP round towards zero always truncates the value, so don't have to calculate an extra digit for rounding, and is better at that than PHP round half up. So I guess if you're really looking for as much speed as you can, especially in almost like a real-time app, maybe you need that. But if you need something real-time, you're probably not using PHP.
We just mentioned this, but they do have. It's funny, they link to externals now. Like, I don't know if externals is a official reference point to internals, because internals, you have to actually be subscribed to the mailing list. If you're not aware of this, anybody can subscribe to the mailing list of internals, but you get a lot of emails of all these conversations. Externals aggregates all this, makes it a little easier to read. So it is kind of cool that they have this link now that will take you to the externals discussion, but it's still an aggregated list of the conversation
that you have to
read through.
parse. Is that login with GitHub new on here, where it tracks what you've read and what you haven't?
No, it's always been there.
Has it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know always. It's been, as long as I've been using it, it's been there. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep. Well, now I want to go find why they voted no, but that's for another time. All right.
For another time. What else you got?
Yeah. The last one I have is the RFC for new without parentheses. And this one I'm happy about. New my class method without parentheses. And this to me just makes sense. I have lots of places in my code where I have that new, like they have new request. You have to wrap that in parentheses to call with method on it. And they're proposing they want that second one where you don't have the parentheses.
And I have to admit, like I do this as well, where I will call up something in code, and when you have to do it this way, it looks like it's wrong, like it shouldn't be there, like it's bad coding.
My problem is I always do it the second way, and then I get the wrong, I get an error or wrong response. I'm like,
yeah,
whoops. Oh yeah, let me go add that here.
And it just looks. I mean, just look at it. It looks like proper code.
Especially so they're doing it with methods. Do that with invocable, where you have parenthesis, new something, close parenthesis, open parenthesis, argument list.
That's true. Yeah.
Actually, I think there's an example of that further down. Yeah. If you go down to, down a little bit more, that first var dump, new my class, to call the invoke, you actually would have another set of parentheses around that. I mean, that itself looks silly to call the invocable, but not much you can do with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited about that. It's already.
I like this one. Yeah, I like this one a lot.
The votes are currently 6 in favor, 2 against.
And again, why? Why are you against? I need to know why you're against this one. This is just RFC discussion thread. Oh, this goes to externals too. Yeah, I might have to read this one because I'd be curious why somebody would be against this one. But there's no easy way to look at that. Assuming that conversation even happens in this thread. Again, that it's not required to happen.
Whoever voted no hasn't said why, or they don't go by that in here.
Yeah, I like this, and it could definitely be one of those deprecated features, right? Where like the old way doesn't need to stop working today; it can continue to work for a while, and then we just deprecate it away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool.
So that's what I've got.
You're a good man because you brought all the milkshake to the yard. Wait, no, what? I have one thing that was carried over from last week, which is why is the usage of PHP going down? Which, I mean, okay, I guess, technically it is. I have opinions, as many of you will know that I have a lot of opinions. I'm not sharing that, so that's why you're looking at me like that. All this stuff, all these links will be in the show notes if you're listening to the audio podcast. So if you're curious about some of the articles we're talking about or the RFCs that we reviewed, just go to the show notes. They'll be in there. So this article, I don't want to say it's sensationalizing it, but it says, why PHP usage has declined by 40% in just over 2 years, which I don't know if I ever actually saw that number of 40%. Most of the decline that I saw was over a span of at least 10 years, but maybe I read that wrong. But they
Well, they're
attribute
going with that graph right there because that's 2021 to 2023 right there. That big drop.
this drop right here.
Yeah, we can't see
So
your mouse, but yeah.
oh, you can't. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Oh, you can see if I move it
Uh,
really fast.
yeah.
So you think this is a 40% drop?
Well, that's got to be my guess. You're going from 3.25 million to under 2 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. All right. So the biggest thing they contribute to this is the fact that WordPress has been making this change over to JavaScript for their front end, which I guess is happening, but I don't see it happening in the worlds that I live in. But again, I'm a PHP person, so uh, supposedly this is a big move. This guy kind of says some kind of shitty stuff about PHP. The guy, who is he? He is the Matt. WordPress is now JavaScript first project. This guy.
Wait. You want to laugh before you go into him? Go
Mhm.
back up to that graph. Read right underneath that graph.
Built with graph for PHP. So Matt is like the CEO or somebody big with WordPress. Yeah, co-creator WordPress CEO of Automatic, right? You know, dude. First thing, let's be real, okay? Because you're moving to JavaScript as a first class citizen in WordPress for your front end doesn't mean it's going to work. All right. I'm not saying it's not going to work. I'm not hoping that it doesn't work. I'm just saying don't throw PHP under the bus so quickly because you may need to fall back to that. But the fact that it is doing it doesn't surprise me that much because WordPress is, first thing, WordPress in the world of PHP doesn't have a great reputation for good, clean code and security. I mean, of recent years, they've done a lot to overcome the security issue, but the clean code, easy to use, hasn't been like a strong point in the PHP community. I can only imagine what you're going to do in the JavaScript world. I'm hoping you've learned lessons from PHP and standardize on community standards and stuff on implementation of JavaScript. But whatever. Okay, so we lose WordPress as our big thing for why PHP is so big in the web. Even still, like the drop that they're talking about really just doesn't seem that significant. I do understand it's a downward trend,
No,
but also
it's such bullshit. It's bullshit. Go back to that graph. Go back to that
okay,
graph.
okay. Back to the this
Go,
the second one. Huh?
go click on that inbuilt with. Nope, above the graph. There's a link to inbuilt with. Up a little
Above the
higher,
graph.
up a little higher. Yep, that link inbuilt with. This is where the graph comes from. Click on that.
Okay. Uh huh. Oh, I
Good.
gotta share that with you guys. Yep. I'm
All
in.
right. Now unselect those top 3 checkboxes and choose all internet.
Unselect all these top 3.
Yeah, and then choose the
All
all
internet.
internet.
Oh, hey, look at that. That's a very different story.
So I don't know where they're getting their data from. Like they have
Hey, I didn't even have to unselect the top 3
uh,
because with all internet selected, they pretty much bottom out anyways.
You gotta love when a tale is spun the way you want it spun.
Yeah.
I want to make PHP look bad because I'm Matt Mullenweg, or however you say his name, and I'm moving. Yeah.
And the only comment I was going to make about it was when for so many years PHP was the only what I would consider the only language that was internet first. It was meant for web pages. Then obviously others came along. Look how many there are today, right? I mean, all the languages that are designed to run on the internet, to run web pages, of course PHP isn't going to hold on to the crazy amount of adoption it had before, because it didn't have any competitors before.
Right.
But if you wanted to get into PHP development today, I don't think you would need to concern yourself with your career path in your lifetime. Like, I'm not saying PHP won't go away, but it ain't going away.
Yeah, but there are still people using Fortran, for crying out loud.
This is true, as we've heard many times. Yes,
this could be us when we're 80. I still use PHP.
Hey, you can't tell me you do it better than PHP, does it? All right. Okay, let me go ahead and queue up. While you're good and talk, I'm going to queue up our supporters on Patreon, because we do need to run them in the background.
I wanted to find that there was a video I wanted to share, and I didn't queue it up, and now I can't remember where to find it. So that's going to be frustrating.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens.
Okay,
well, while John's doing that, these are our fantastic supporters on Patreon. Thank you so much for all your support. It's funny how many times I have to talk to people about how Patreon got started, and it wasn't like meant to be a real thing, and then it was hard not to appreciate everybody giving us support and showing us some love. So yeah, we kind of kept going. We do try to give back to. Wow, that was a quick Patreon thing. I need to extend that video.
Not my fault.
We try to give back to our Patreon supporters where we can. We have something queued up here that we're going to share with our supporters on Patreon. But if you're a supporter on Patreon and you're in Discord, you're in a special Discord channel, which will get the news as soon as it drops. But yeah. Also, if you're in our Discord, I don't know. I don't know if I can pin stuff in Discord. I don't think you can, but we shared Sarah Goldman at Tech got intoxicated just enough to do the PHP Ugly Anthem for their karaoke, and I cleaned it up a little bit. I added the music to the background, and got it playing. But in that process, I separated the beat, the music, from the vocals, as well as took those vocals and then transcribed them so that everybody had the lyrics to the song, which I think are pretty close. I need to read through it again. I feel like I missed a couple spots, but that's all been shared in Discord. I should have put that in the music channel or something in Discord. Maybe I'll remember to do that so everybody can find it easier. But Sarah, and this has come up in the past. I don't think we've ever made the official request, but I think there's enough behind it now where I'll make it the official request. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll create a PHP Ugly Anthem Discord channel in the PHP Ugly Discord. We'll add the lyrics and the beat. There's been a request that everybody makes a version of it. You don't have to sing the whole thing, or just sing whatever or do whatever verses you like, and then stitching it all together to make a one big community version of the anthem. I don't think Harry Mack would have an issue with it, because we paid for it. But maybe we'll try to reach out to him and make sure. But yeah.
Yeah, I got his phone number in my phone. I'll contact him.
You ring him up all the time. Yeah.
All right. I shared a link in the Restream private chat.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen
am
this video.
Am I sharing this am I sharing this?
If you can.
Yeah.
So
right.
Diana Pham with Vonage created a little video. I thought it was pretty neat. Of course.
Right.
That's because I'm the star of it.
Yeah, no. I know. I didn't. The whole great work, John and team. I'm like, wait, what? What? It's all back and forth. John and I have one of my favorite exit survey responses was, "I'd really like to thank Eric and Jim for all their hard work." Like, I love it. I love it. All right,
of course, that's the way it is.
Let's see. So you guys should hear this.
I finally met Jim.
Hello.
And in case you don't know Jim, this is Jim.
To forth the computer, etc., etc.
There was also some rapping involved.
To the hosting, Thomas doesn't never wrong.
And then I asked all the sponsors to give me a TLDR of what they do.
We provide OS agnostic LTS PHP runtimes that include security patches.
We build web mobile apps, and we act as an extension.
That's so
of
happy
our
vehicle came.
And we are changing how people talk about mental health in the technology industry.
Okay, I want to point out, Joe is a tall guy, but I am not cutting off his head. His head is cut off in the video. They did
that on purpose.
I figured, yeah.
Overall, I had an amazing time, and I just want to thank John and his team for putting on such a great conference.
Welcome to the community.
Thank you.
What's funny is, had the TLDR from all the sponsors. She works for one of the sponsors. She didn't put Vonage in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
I mean, it's shared on a Vonage.
Right.
It's shared on a Vonage page, so maybe that's why. But it was just funny to me. It stood out.
Well, actually, there was a few sponsors she missed, right? Because Packages didn't. No, Packages just manned their booth. There was somebody at Packages.
No, they didn't have a booth.
They didn't
this year. No.
Okay, and Caring didn't. Compassionate Coding didn't have a booth.
Right.
I still feel like we missed somebody. First, okay, I'm going to put this out there. If another person comes up to me and says, "Pudnub," I thought PubHub, or what was it? Pornhub was sponsoring you guys. It's like, no. Why would Pornhub be sponsoring this conference? It's PubNub, and yes, I understand why you think it's Pornhub.
Yeah. But we've been using their services, and they do a great job. I mean, there's no two ways about it. I like it.
Yeah. And then also Sensios Labs was there. That was the other one.
Oh yeah.
Will, what happened there?
Sensio Labs. Yeah. Don't know.
Sensio Labs, yeah. So yeah, thanks to all the sponsors. Hope you guys come back around next year and sponsor us again. Prospectus coming soon. We just need to I guess we can tentatively put some information on there until the contracts are signed, but
yeah,
no reason to hold up prospectus for that.
Right. I concur.
Yeah. All right, cool. Okay.
All right.
I think that's it. You good? You good with the show? We done?
Yeah.
All right. Let's queue up.
I got to get my kid to soccer practice in a little bit.
You got soccer practice. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. And that did not do what I wanted to do. Yeah, it did. There we go. Good job. Good job. All right. So that's going to do it for 382 of PHP Ugly. I'm Eric.
And I'm John. Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go.
Let's go.
Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
All right. You need to bust out right away, or?
No. I got time.
Cool. So the for everybody who might be, if you're listening, this is the after show. We just ramble at this point. Anybody who might be interested, I spent the weekend last weekend and got all my videos done from the conference, and I was doing some coding because I was trying to make it easier for us to upload it. But then John, in his infinite wisdom, found an error in one of the bumpers.
Both of them.
And in both of them. And at first I'm like, well, my first reaction is like, you son of a bitch, this has been out there for like a month now. You didn't notice it sooner?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. We had it.
I didn't see it in the first. That was the third rendition of it.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. We'd just gotten it the week before, like Friday.
So he noticed this error after I had already made all my videos with the error in it. And I'm still probably going to release my videos for now, but I'm going to have to switch them out because that's actually what sparked the whole PHP tech.io conversations. Like, this is such a stupid URL for this conference. It needs to be shorter and more, precise. And so we came up with PHP tech.io, reached out to our design group and said, okay, replace this URL with that URL. Had I not done that, I would have just kept my videos the way they are. But now that I did that and I see the new URL, I'm like, well, shit, now I'm going to have to redo all my videos. Yeah. God damn it.
So they put in the video www.tech.phparch.com. And it's like, one, it's wrong. I mean, yes, we could have redirected it just fine, but it just looks stupid too.
Yeah. And a fun fact, I didn't share this with you, John. That site is managed through Forge, Laravel, Taylor Otwell's Forge service, which is a decent service. I mean, it automates a bunch of stuff. But the certificate process with it is good. I keep meaning to reach out to Nuno and let him know about this. Nuno, if you're listening, I'll get an email out to you about this. The certificate process, you can choose Let's Encrypt, right? So the way they do it, and I applaud them for doing this way, is that it will create certificates for any domain that the web server is configured to serve. Tech.phparch.com and anything else we add to it. The problem came into play. So I added PHP tech.io to it. I'm like, well, shoot, let me go ahead and create a certificate for www.tech.phparch.com, and then maybe I won't worry about it. It won't let me create the certificate because it automatically creates a www.certificate on all the certificates it makes for that Forge install. But it's only going off of the root domain, and it doesn't, so the fact that it's a subdomain of a domain, tech.phparch.com, it doesn't create a www.tech.phparch.com certificate, and it won't let me tell it to create a PHP. It won't let me tell it to create that certificate. And it's just like, oh, that's pretty frustrating. So it actually resolves. I wonder if it auto redirects, because it should resolve www.tech.
You just can't get to it through HTTPS.
Yeah. So it does resolve www.tech.phparch.com, because I made that DNS change, and then it goes over to tech.phparch.com. Now I'm wondering if I should just not worry about it, because it does work. I don't know. All right. So I am interested in feedback. Traditionally, with tech, the old domains used to change over to the year. So, like this year, it would be tech24.phparch.com, which I also think is also configured as well. Tech24.phparch.com. Yeah. So, if you wanted to go back and look at old websites, you could. Do you like that? And John, feel free to give me your opinion as well. It won't carry as much weight as our listeners. Do you like that? Or for phptech.io, would you rather it be the full year, like 2024.phptech.io?
I think that one.
You like that? Yeah. Because otherwise it would just be 24.phptech.io, because we can't change the base domain. So it'd either be 24, which I found confusing, because I thought, because it was only, this year was only the 16th tech, right? 16th?
Mm-hmm.
Was it 16th? Yeah. So when I saw that configuration in DNS, I'm like, what did they do? They just they did all their domains out a bunch of years. And then I realized, oh no, tech in the 2 digits is not tech the 16th annual tech. It's tech.
Oh yeah, it was the year.
Yeah. So that's when I realized that, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't like that. So if you're good with 2024.phptech.io, I think that's will be the direction I go moving forward.
Works for me.
All right.
I like it. We got
okay.
We got to come up with our design and branding for 2025 now.
A Woods, I edited your video and was quite impressed with your speaking. I hope to see more talk submissions from you in the future. You gave me this impression that, I'm pretty sure you said this is the first time you spoke at a conference, and you gave me the impression that you were really nervous, and you looked nervous when you started, but by the end you were just talking to friends, man. You were just in the groove. I hope to see more talk submissions from you, A Woods. You're a very good presenter.
I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, it's a good one. All
right. So now we have to get these things edited.
Yeah, we need that. We need theme ideas as well for 2025. If we're gonna do this, it helps to have a theme. I think our first year, our theme was, what the hell are we doing? What's happening? What were we thinking? This year it was global community. And next year it's I don't know. I was nervous. I submitted more talks, Jokum. I mean,
I
I'm
will-
sorry.
will-
I
I
should have
will.
been clear.
I will submit.
Oh, I will submit. Oh, okay. I will submit more. Okay. I was say I should be clear. Good talks. You don't have a free pass because you're Discord and you're a Patreon supporter. Are you? He was a Patreon supporter, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, good talks. All right, John.
Articles. We need articles for the magazine. We need to put this in the show.
We have got to have a commercial, John. We've got to get our team to create a commercial that is that. Like, yeah, subscribe, but also be a part of.
There you go.
God damn it. Good call. We've got to remember to do that. We never do our own stuff.
If only we had a to-doist place to put things.
I know. I forgot until we started talking about it. I had a whole list of things I wanted to talk about with that WordPress guy. I actually made notes of them, and then I forgot to pull it up and didn't. I found myself too far down that rabbit hole to look for where I put it.
That, and I kept interrupting you when you got there because it was just driving me crazy when I saw those numbers and like it was all up front.
No, it's great points. Let me see. What did I have? Let me find the notes now that everybody's here waiting. What? That is not what I wanted to look for. Wow. Okay, I love Obsidian. Whoever turned me on to Obsidian, thank you very much. But my God, have I started like logging every freaking thing I want to talk about? JetBrains shows a similar drop off, 30% 2017 through 2023, so not 3 years. Mainly because WordPress, JavaScript, PHP is no longer the future of WordPress, according to it. Yeah, I kind of touched on everything I wanted to touch on.
And most of the WordPress installations out there are still running it because they're not changing; they're just there.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, good luck with that. I mean, I hope they do a better job at their JavaScript implementation than they did with how they handled PHP. Oh, you know what? They just bought somebody. Who did they just buy? Automatic buys so many people. Oh, you know what? I think they bought that Beeper program. Hold on. It's that Beeper app that I was using. Beeper. Yeah, Beeper.com, which is a all-inclusive chat for new chat. I mean, it's like Discord, everything out there. Beeper is joining Automatic.
Yeah,
We've been acquired.
$125 million.
What? So they also bought the podcast software I used. This was years ago. And Pocket Cast. They bought Pocket Cast as well. Man, they acquire a bunch of things, man.
This is the second cross-platform messaging solution because they bought text.com.
Really? I stopped using Beeper. I still have it. It just takes a lot. Honestly, the reason I stopped using it, I didn't stop using it. I turned off notifications because in the truck, when I have my Android Auto playing through my car, every time a new message is sent to a Discord channel that hasn't received a message yet, it does the notifications and I have to mute it. And I would like to be able to go in there and say, hey, I don't need notifications from Discord unless it's a DM to me or a DM I'm a part of, or these particular channels in certain Discords. Like there's the columnist channel and PHP Architect that I would like to get notified on. And there's a client one in PHP Architect I like to get notified on, but I don't want everything. And there's no way of doing that. You have to include everything and then start muting all the ones you don't want. It's a pain. It's a good app, but yeah, I just don't really use it that much because I don't. All right. Most WordPress installs are still out there being PHP 5.2. Yeah, that's true. We actually, stumbled upon that recently. 5.2 install we need to address. Pretty cutthroat business, man. Really interesting. Kaylin says, this guy. I mean, he founded WordPress, so he had to have been a PHP person at some point in his life. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, I got a problem. I got a problem when people start shit talking my language, man. I really do. That's when John was down in Mexico, he sent he sent a message in the company Slack. He's like, "Hey, I'm standing next to Uncle Bob." And Uncle Bob, this isn't who he was standing next to, but Uncle Bob is a very well-known person in development. He's one of the four or the six. What is it?
I just know him as a clean code guy.
Yeah, the clean code guy. Yeah, that's the best way to. And but he spoke at Laracon, and he was trying to be funny, kind of knocking on PHP. I didn't take it as funny, and I'm like done with the guy. Like that was the first time I saw him talk, and I think I hyped him up too much in my head because everybody talks about how smart he is and how good he is and all this. So I kind of hyped up his keynote in my head, and then he's like, knocking on PHP. I'm like, all right, this guy can, fuck off. And I tried to watch a couple of his talks afterwards, and I'm like, I think the guy was relevant at some point and had a couple of good ideas and just continues to cash in on it, but I'm not impressed. So, yeah, Kayla knows. I opened up in our company Discord. I'm being nice now. When I said in our company Discord, I'm like, before I knew that's not who John was standing next to, I told John, I'm like, turn to this guy and say these words.
Like, no, this guy's just a drone guy.
Yeah. Apparently, there's another Uncle Bob in the drone world who might not be as big of a douchebag. I shouldn't call him a douchebag, but I did. So that's out there now for everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Don't come to me talking shit. I'm the same way as far as like being a liberal. Like I don't like to give myself like titles. Like I don't like to think of myself as a liberal. But when it comes to the world of right wing, left wing, conservative, liberal, if you want to call me a liberal, fine. But I'm not the type of liberal you want to fucking get angry because I'm not a nice person, and I don't go looking for a fight. But like I don't have problems with them. I'm like a bad. I'm that person. Like I'm a bad liberal as far as like just. I'm not a peace, love all, kumbaya person. Like I'm fine mixing things up, and kind of the same way with my language. Like, hey, you want to talk shit, but I'm not the person you want to talk shit to. Not because I'm good at it, not because I know it inside and out, because I will fucking hurt you. I will stop. All right. Yes. I have a past I'm not super proud of, but I try. It is honestly something after I had kids, especially not because I had kids. I started before I had it. It really came down to the mentors I had in my life of people. And I kind of got to a point where I just couldn't be mad anymore. Like I couldn't stay mad. I had to figure out a way to function in a world that I didn't agree with. And it's something I have to remind myself of from time to time. But I'm not proud of person I always have been, and I had to mature a lot. And I wish I had done it sooner because I definitely appreciate the world and appreciate life and appreciate the people around me. Even if I don't agree with them, I appreciate people around me more. Whereas before, if I didn't agree with you, it was like you're either with me or you're against me. That was like the black and white world. And I couldn't come up with this. We don't have to agree on things. We can still get along. I couldn't find that middle ground. And that's something that some mentors I had in my life helped me find.
That's good.
And
yeah, that's important.
Yeah. So it's but yeah. I try to be a good person. That's my whole thing. I try to be good. I make an honest effort at it now.
I know when you said you wouldn't back down from a fist fight, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of the other way. Maybe when I was 19 and I was drunk, I would look for something, but outside of that, I'm like, no, pacifist.
See, I was never that guy. Like, I never wanted to get drunk and get into a fight.
I didn't want to get drunk and get into fights.
But you feel like you could. That's yeah, that liquid courage. You could
Yeah. Well, I mean, the one time I'm thinking of, I was gone like way too much, and like I think we're sitting at a Denny's too, for crying out loud, and like somebody 3 tables over, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and they said something, and like I started yelling back, and like people dragging me out. Like, it was so stupid.
Funniest stories the current wife will tell you if she has never told you. I'll tell you guys now. But I was touch on something before you said that. Liquid courage, fight. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. Like I'm be perfectly clear. Like I'm old now. Like I'm not. I don't want to get hit. Like I'm not looking to get hit. I know how much my body doesn't like living anymore. How much it hurts. I'm definitely not looking to put it through more pain, but I feel like I would be okay with it under the right circumstance. But like a perfect example of the person after I met my mentors, like when I found this Zen, this calming, I was actually out to dinner with one of them. And it was the current wife, myself, him and his wife, and we'd gone to this place downtown. And I forgot why we were even downtown, but we randomly go into this bar and we found a table and we sit down. And I just said, this guy's my mentor, and he kind of provoked the whole situation. But apparently there was somebody sitting behind us, and it was giving us the stink eye. I didn't see him. He was to my back. But my friend did. And he hadn't been there for a while because he never walked past me. And my friend, being who he is, let a lot of it go. But after about a half hour or so, he had enough. And eventually he looks up to him and says, do we have a problem here? Is there some sort of issue? He didn't really say it aggressively. He just kind of said, do we have a problem? And I'm like, who are you talking about? And I see that there's a guy behind me who's sitting in like this bar stool. And so this guy says something and stands up. And I'm just like, whatever. And pushes me against the table. Like he's standing behind me, like bumps my chair behind the table. And I'm a taller individual. Maybe he didn't see me come in. This guy was not a very tall individual. I stand up and I triggered. So this was early on, and I flip pretty quickly. So I stand up, I turn around, and the guy's face like hits my chest because that's how close he is to me. I'm like, what's up? He goes, oh, I have a problem with you. And he reaches around me because I'm a bigger guy. He reaches around me and goes, oh, I have a problem with him. I'm like, then you should have fucking bumped into him. And like there's a guy up there singing, and I just hear him. He's singing like this Irish hymn or whatever. And all of a sudden, you hear, "Oh no, somebody better get back here!"
It would have been funnier if you just picked him up like a baby. Like, you got a problem with who?
This is he reaches around me. A problem with him. Yeah.
And what was it? Just a drunk situation?
I don't honestly know what it was. I think what it was in hindsight is he was hoping he would intimidate us to leave the table, because he was actually there with his grandmother and his wife or whatever, because the bouncers come running over and they run right past me and grab him and like, all right, buddy, you gotta go. He goes, wait a minute, I gotta get my grandmother. I'm like, what? You gotta get your grandmother? So I think he was trying to intimidate us so we would leave the table, because it was a crowded club and he wanted the table for his grandmother. And I don't know, because those were the only words that were exchanged with him. And yeah, it was a weird situation.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. It was funny though, in hindsight. All right, I think that's it. You got a little bit of a sneak peek in my dirty little past. So next week after the show, we'll talk about the time John had to spend in jail, because he's not a good guy either.
I've shared that,
everybody,
haven't I?
Probably.
I don't.
Thanks
I don't
everybody for
remember.
hanging out with us. Bye.